Let's get it. This is Life's Essential Ingredients with Jeff and a Mike, where we hope to inform, inspire, and transform lives, one essential ingredient at a time. Welcome to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get ready for another episode of Life's Essential Ingredients. And every day is a treat, but it's so good to see my Pasho, especially in this holiday season. And then I had the great pleasure of meeting our guest a few years ago at a John Gordon training in Texas. And we have Chip Baker coming from the greater Houston area. Chip, good morning to you.
What's going on, my man? How you doing?
Oh, great. It's been a little bit, but been following you on your Instagram and seeing all the great work that you're doing with the new release of your book, The Impact of Influence, Volume 2. So congrats on that, and we will definitely get into that. So, hey, I'm going to introduce you real quick. I know Chip is a little bit short on time, and so we are going to get after it in this episode, or like on his saying, we're going to go get it. We're going to go get it, Chip. Where you can find Chip, first of all, on Instagram, it's at Chip Baker TSC, so ChipBakerTSC, or via his website. He's got a lot of good stuff on there, which is linktr.ee/Chip Baker TSC. Or for sure, you got to listen to his podcast, Chip Baker, The Success Chronicles. So a little bit about Chip, fourth-generation educator with over 20 years experience in teaching and coaching. Chip was a four-sport high school athlete and was blessed to have opportunity to play college football at West Texas A&M University, where he received his bachelor's degree and went on to receive his master's degree from Sam Houston State University in educational leadership. A few years ago, Chip started the Success Chronicles, a podcast to inspire and motivate his listeners and followers. Chip has also authored several books, like I mentioned most recently, The Impact of Influence, Volume 2. So congrats on an amazing career. Thanks for all you have done and continue to do for our youth. Chip, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, and thanks so much for that great introduction. I was like, man, who is that guy? I need to meet him.
Hey, well, that's exactly what I said about you. And I speak the truth, and there's certain people that you run across in your life. And Chip and I, we didn't exactly... At our time at John Gordon, you're kind of moving and shaking and getting a lot of stuff done in a short amount of time. But there was just something about Chip where your spirit is contagious for sure. Your smile just lights up and takes over the entire room. And just the way that you have this presence about you, it just really stopped me in my tracks. Like, man, I got to at least get this guy's contact information before our paths are done crossing. And so I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. And again, for the great work that you do, but we're going to get after it because I don't want to talk so much. We always start Life's Essential Ingredients with the thought of the day, which is picked based upon the guest. And so this one comes from the great Martin Luther King. So I'm going to read it to you, and then I ask you, Chip, why would I pick that for you? And here we go. Everyone can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. He's already getting after it. Those of you that are listening, he's almost falling out of his chair.
Let's go.
Why would I pick that for you?
I think first off, man, you know how to hit me in the heart because MLK is my guy. I strive every day to, exhibit some of the traits that he had throughout his life, by service and peace and love and caring for others and just leading by example. Those are things that I strive to do in my life. And I think, maybe you picked that because my hope is that you've seen some of the things in me that you've seen in that amazing man. And, that's what I strive to exhibit. And so first off, thanks for doing that because, man, let's go. You got me going. It's on.
Yes, and that is why, for sure. And again, it's I don't want to go back because I know we're pressed for time, but it's how you made me feel, and the great Dr. Maya Angelou, and not to mix in, but man, talk about two amazing people. She talked about how people wouldn't remember exactly what you said, but they'll for sure remember how you made them feel. And I see that in you, and a few years ago, this was before COVID, so probably 3-4 years ago, when we met each other, and that's what I remember about you. And then, prepping for this show a little bit, you were just out at an elementary school maybe a couple months ago, dropping off your book and influencing young men. And yeah, that was just reflected in that video that you had with that too. So I know you get the validation, and I know you serve a higher purpose, but just to let you know, your work does not go unnoticed. And so again, we thank you for that. And listeners, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Life's Essential Ingredients. But let's get after it. So I want to jump right to your podcast, Success Chronicles. Why pick that name? What is it that you're doing with that? And what's been your biggest takeaway from that work that you've done?
I think the why, I realized a long time ago, two things. First, that it's bigger than me, that it ain't about me, right? I realized that in my life. But then the second component is, I love learning, and I've been blessed and fortunate to be around some amazing people to learn from. And so I just wanted to highlight those people. I'm blessed to have amazing conversations with people every day that I learn and grow from, right? And so I just got to a point where I was like, man, I can't keep this to myself anymore. I got to share this. This is some good stuff. I got to share this with the world, right? Just to highlight those people. And little did I know, in my taking that one step to highlight the amazing people that was around me, little did I know it would grow at a crazy rate, truly far surpass anything I ever thought it would be. And that's been 6 years. And now, I've, gotten to where I've met some amazing people, been able to continue to learn and grow, been able to continue to highlight others. And then I think the coolest thing that I've seen is just like the experience of you and I meeting, right? I just went there to strive to be better, right? But I didn't know that I would sit at a table, first off, with some great people. Those people would impact my lives. And, it's some people there that I've done work with outside of that, and so that's like anything. Just take the first step to your greatness, step into your brave, right? It's okay to do that. And when you do that, you'll surprise yourself every day with the amazing things that will come along your path. And that's what the Success Chronicles has been for me.
Well, I know I love that. I love every last word that you're saying. And I think speaking to me of the main takeaway from that is just take the first step. And it always seems like it's the hardest one, but when you can surround yourself with other people, and there are so many people out there on that same path that we just don't know it. But if we can just take that first step, maybe make eyes, maybe realize, hey, it's a little bit scary, but let me be there to support you. You be there to support me, and we're just better together. I love that. I know on your show, you always ask people, and I haven't listened to it as much, but you ask people, hey, what's your definition of success? So I have to ask you what yours is, and I'm going to put my Pasho on to jump in there and to share his definition as well. So Chip, let's start with you.
Okay, so put me on the spot with it. Mine is my definition, and I'm going to use my tagline that I use on my YouTube channel, and that tagline is live, learn, serve, inspire, go get it. And really what that means is we all have to live a life where we live, right? In order to achieve success, you got to get in there and make some things happen and live, because when you have that mentality of living and going after it, then you learn so much. That's the second component. You learn so much, yes, about the world, but the biggest thing is you learn so much about yourself. right? And that's the key component. And then after you do that, after you've lived and learned, it's important to serve. You've got to serve others. Take those things that you've learned to help others move more efficiently and effectively. And then little do you know, when you're going through those trials and tribulations of living and learning and serving, because none of us are perfect. We all make mistakes. Well, we're all going to have to say, man, Chip, what are you doing? What were you, man, I'm tripping. We all have to go grow through that. Right. But then little do you know, people see that, and it's inspiring to others when you do that. And then the last component for me for success is the go get it piece. No significant success is going to come to you. Like, you have to go get it. You have to go make it happen.
Wow, Chip, you got me wanting to go get it right now. Thank you.
Let's go.
Let's go. Hey, of the 4 words that you put on there, that you the live, learn, serve, and inspire, is that in the order of importance, or are they all equally as important?
I'm glad you asked that. I think it's a progressive. Hold on. It's a progressive realization of a worthy goal. Wait a minute. I think some guy used that as a quote for his definition of success, Earl Nightingale, right? So I think it's a progressive thing. You can take that and break it down as seasons of your life. You can take that and break it down as phases. Being a coach, there's different phases or that you go through. But you have to live and step out there first. In that living, you're gonna learn. That it's a process. It's a natural process. And then, from that, okay, there's going to be some people that come along that try to do it wrong. Hey, this is what I found that I bumped my head on. Don't do that. Go right. I went left. Go right, please. Right. And then from there, those people see, well, man, if he was able to do it, well, I probably can too. And so, yes, I think it's, chronological. I think it's a process. I think it's a order in which you need to do that.
I love it. I love it. I'm not going to get into ours, but it reminds me so much of C4 leaders and what we're trying to do as a nonprofit with these 4 C's, and definitely so many parallels, but I know we're pressed for time, so I want to get into your good stuff. So this show is called Life's Essential Ingredients, and I know you just shared your essential ingredients, but now I want to go into, because I know you's a mover and a shaker, and you's going out and getting it every day, but how do you do that? And really specifically, like, what does your day, the structure of your day look like? How do you find this balance in your life to go out, to live, to learn, serve, and inspire? Because those are great things, but when it comes to executing those on the daily, that's like the essential ingredients of the how. So give us some insight on that.
Well, first off, Coach, I'm gonna just tell you, like, that is a whole series of podcast episodes to hit you with that and really break that down. But I'm gonna try to condense it all to a few minutes. So pardon me if I go fast on this. But I think first it starts with your foundation. You can't build a skyscraper on a soft foundation and expect it to last forever. So you have to have some core common principles. Being a teacher, I'll throw you you got to have some constants, right? That you hang your hat on, that regardless of what's going on, oh no, I'm going to do this. Like, period. Like, this is what I believe in, regardless of the seasons. I don't know what y'all are doing, but this is what I'm going to do. This is what I believe in. And for me, that's where I start. And for me, it's 5 things. It's my faith walk is the first thing. Working hard is another thing. Whatever I'm involved in, I'm going to give you everything I got, period. All right. Doing things the right way. We all know the difference between right and wrong. You have to make sure that you make a conscious effort to do things the right way each moment of each day. Treating people right is one other thing that I believe in. And then the 5th part is having gratitude. And for me, gratitude is the attitude that determines your altitude. Oh, Mike, hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. Hey, gratitude it's the attitude that determines your altitude. And we have to be grateful for the blessings that we do have. Yes, things could be better, but guess what, guys? They can also be way worse, right? So be grateful for what you do have and work with what you got, right? If you can appreciate the 5 that you have, well, you'll be glad when you get the 5,000, right? So just be grateful for where you are right now, piece it together and make it work. So for me, that's where it starts. And that's the first component, my essentials, my essential ingredients. Have some core common principles that you believe in, period, right? Regardless of the situation, the principles over feelings. Like, that's my principles. I believe in those, right? And so then the next component is, I think, is understanding you have to have an operating system by which you operate, right? And so for me, I think you have to have the core common principles. You have to have the proper mindset. You have to understand how to prioritize and have balance, right? And then put in the action. So those are the 4 kind of main things. So I talked to you about the principles. Like I said, this is a series of episodes, but I'm going to try to give you quick. And then as far as when you look at the mindset, you have to understand, I'm an acronym guy, LPOs, right? First is limits. Understand in your mindset that there is no limit, because if you limit yourself, you limit yourself, right? The P is possibilities. Hey guys, the possibilities are possible. And I'm a living I'm the research and the evidence of that. Because I grew up with a single parent mom. I didn't know authors. Like, I didn't know anybody that did podcast. Growing up, I didn't know anybody that's doing anything that I'm doing growing up, right? So, hey, the possibilities are possible, right? And then the O from that is opportunities bring opportunities. When you put yourself in situations where you have to stretch yourself, where you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Ooh, hold on, Mike. Hey, you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And every time you stretch yourself, like I did when I put myself at that John Gordon training, you put yourself around great people that gives you opportunities, like Jeff, which is why I'm here with this situation, because from that, the opportunities have brought opportunities for me. And so that's the mindset component. And then the other component is, having balance, prioritizing. It's important to prioritize in your life. And for me, I have what I call a balanced pie. If you can envision, a pie chart, great athletes visualize, right? So let's visualize here. Envision a pie chart, and a pie chart, the sum total in the pie chart is 100%, right? And so I have 10 areas that I strive to work on. If you think about it, that's like 10% each, right? Do the math. I'm going kind of fast. But for me, like, it's unacceptable for me to give 10% to anything I'm doing. So my pie chart's like 1,000, right? Because I'm giving 100 in every area. And some of those areas are, and I'll just list the areas: my faith, my family, work, personal growth, relationships, making a difference, being present, having the right attitude, the effort that I give, and then being the glue, holding it, whatever situation I'm in, I got to hold it all together and make sure that we're good. Like, how can I help? How can I give service? Like, it ain't about me. Like, just put me somewhere and let me go to work, right? And so those are the really, like I said, kind of fast, those are the essential ingredients for me that I strive to live by. Have some core common principles, have the proper mindset, and then understand how to prioritize with the balanced pie.
Man, yeah. If you hit it right on the head of, this is like a 10-hour, 10-day podcast episode. I wasn't
playing with you.
Yeah. Chip, don't play. He's going to go get it. He's going to go get it. You got to make sure you're tuning in to the Success Chronicles with Chip Baker, because he's dropping knowledge all day, every day. And you can tell that his game is tight. He's been working really hard at this. And so cool to hear, that not necessarily in your life did you have a role model that was there to guide you, but you realize, I got to go out and go get one. I got to go find one and surround myself with people that are going to guide me on this path so then I can serve others and realize that it's bigger than me. And you're just living that and doing it. So amazing. One thing, I know we're pressed. We got 4 minutes, but we got to get into your book, The Impact of Influence. So you already wrote volume 1, which was, I'm sure, amazing. And then you're like, hey, I got to get volume 2. So give some highlights of that and why you felt the desire, the passion, the need to write another volume.
Well, just like I said, opportunities bring opportunities. From doing the Success Chronicles, I've come across some great people. I had a guy that I've interviewed. Well, let me back. There's a group of men, a great group of men that I had opportunities to speak to. And, several of the guys within that group I've interviewed. And one of the guys within the group, he does has a self-publishing group. And, we got a little close and he's like, man, you're connected with some great people. You ever thought about bringing some of those people together and putting some of their stories together in a book? I was like, man, that's a great idea. Let's do that. Right. And so we did the volume 1 and it hit number 1 in 11 categories, Amazon bestseller. When we dropped it, blew me away. In our striving to impact others, we were impacted and saw, and inspired because we saw that, man, this is making a difference. Like, we're traveling, doing book tours, and people are repeating like what they read in the book. Like, man, this is crazy, right? Like, for real, like they really read something that I wrote. Wow, And, so that was truly a blessing. So I was like, man, we got to do that again. And so we did volume 2, and the book is about half and half. So half older authors from the volume 1 and half a new authors, 18 guys. And really what we did, we just wrote about, all of us have been influenced by something or someone in our life. And it's influenced us in such a manner that it's impacted us and caused us to be who we are, right? And so what we've done is we've written about that person or incidents in our life, what we learned from that, the blessings and the lessons, and then how we're using that to make a positive difference in our world. And so that's what the impact of influence is about. Men 1 and 2 is about men from all walks of life. I mean, there's some great guys, preachers, teachers, coaches, principals, superintendents, big businessmen, and they're from all over the United States, different backgrounds, different experiences. It's actually 2 of the guys that was in that training with us are in the book as well. So, nice. I mean, it's just crazy. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, congrats on that. We got to jump right to the end of the show here. And again, listeners, The Impact of Influence, Volume 2, make sure you check that out by Chip Baker. Not to get morbid, Chip, but let's fast forward, 40, 50 years. You're on your deathbed. You're surrounded by all the people that have loved you in your life. And John Alston has an incredible quote, says, the only thing you take with you when you're gone is what you leave behind. What is it you want those people to feel in their hearts when you take your last breath?
That's a great question. It gave me chills as you were saying it, because that's important to me. Like, I live every day being intentional about that, because when I leave this place, I want to know without a shadow of a doubt, I'm empty. I've given everything I got to give. I can't do no more. Right. And so for me, I'm intentional about that. Like that is why I do what I do. And so for me, the first thing is I would like for people to say, man, he impacted my life in a positive way. He made a difference in my life in a positive way. And then the second thing is, well, 3 things. The second thing was, man, that guy was consistent. Like, I knew what I was going to get from Chip Baker. Like, every time I saw him, he going to hit me with a smile. He going to give me the juice. Every time I saw him, he was ready. Right. And then the third thing is, man, he was a good dude. And if people can say those things about me, I would feel that I would have lived a life that I would have made first the big man proud and my family proud of how I lived.
All right, listeners, we got to wrap this up. We've been with Chip Baker from the Success Chronicles, his podcast, and author of his latest book, The Impact of Influence, Volume 2. We can't thank you enough. Listeners, we can't thank you enough for tuning in to another episode of Life's Essential Ingredients. Just a quick blurb for C4 leaders. We have our first book coming out, We Rise Together. That's part of the Pizza Day series. By the time this episode drops, you can find it anywhere you find a book. Please check that out. All proceeds go towards us serving others, just like the great Dr. King. And with that, to be respectful of Chip's time, we're out. We thank you so much, Chip. Listeners, boom, that just happened.